What is going on, my friends? Very excited tonight to show you a coin that I heard about a while ago. Didn't do a lot of research into it, kind of like my last video or one of my other videos called on the coin called Enigma. I just picked a coin that I've heard many times, didn't know much about it, and when I started research, I fell in love with the coin. This is the same for this particular coin. I've known about it. I actually grabbed a couple of, a couple coins of it. Maybe, I don't know, a month or two ago. I did a little bit of research then, but didn't really do a deep dive. And when I did a deep dive today, I was really excited about the coin and everything I found about it. So let's go ahead and hop right on in. And as always on my other videos, I like to kind of do a broad picture first on their social, their web metrics, and then I'll dive further into more details. So the coin we're going to look at today is currently at number 79, called Factom. Go ahead and click here. It's currently selling at $29.35 today. The circulating supply is 8.7 million. I don't know actually what the total supply actually is. I looked around. I didn't see it. I didn't do a heavy search for it, but at one point here the price got all the way up to $78, and that was January 8th, and as of today it's at $29. So after you've watched this review, if this is a particular coin that you're interested in, again, not a I don't have a crystal ball, not a financial advisor, but it's a pretty low price right now given where it's been. But right now the market has taken a little bit of a dip. Let's go ahead and look at what exchanges it's on. Currently we got BitZ, Poloniex, Bittrex, Upbit, Cryptopia, and Cryptop. I don't know how to pronounce it. And then BCX. So a couple different exchanges. I like the fact that, and I've told you in front that I do like the coin, so I like the fact that it's not already on Binance and it's not on KuCoin and some of these other ones that are getting a lot of traction. So I see potential there, which makes me excited because I am a fan of this particular coin. Let's first just cover and knock out the social side of things. So Factom, like we said, is the coin. It's 73,000, or they have about 73,000 followers on Twitter, which is really good. That's very, very good. Granted, I do have to say that they have been around since 2014. Actually, maybe 2014-ish. And so, that they should be big. So I'm not trying to dog it at all, but I do like the fact that they are this big because I have seen coins that have been that old that aren't that big. So that's the flip side of that. If you go here and look at their growth, it's not a lot of growth every day. They're consistent, that's good, but they don't have hundreds or thousands of people every single day on their Twitter page. But that's not the end of the world, and they've already grown a lot anyways. So but I always like to kind of show these little things here. 8,200 followers or readers, subscribers, if you will, on their Reddit page here. It seems very active actually. When I've gone through a bunch of stuff, people are posting quite a bit on here, so that is a good thing. Even though it's somewhat, it's not low. There's plenty of people on there. I've seen higher, I've seen lower, but they seem to be very active on there. Here's the growth. You can see it really started to take off maybe June 2017 and did a nice little jump, and then it kind of plateaued a little bit in September, and then now it's taken a nice curve upward in January. Alright, and the one thing I've been throwing in my videos is the commits, which is basically like how often they're working and saving and changing through GitHub. They're currently ranked number 29, so again, that's very nice to see that the team is actually legitimately working on what they say they're going to be working on. I'm always a fan of that. Alright, last but not least, we'll check their web metrics here. So it was about 160,000. Formed a nice little teacup there. There's your technical analysis side of things. 250,000 in December, and then 260,000 in January. I'm very curious to see what February has done. And again, similar web. This is just an estimate, guys. There's no perfection in this particular software that pulls the data. It just gives a rough estimate, but it's nice to see that they have continual traffic that's in the hundreds of thousands. And it seems to be, at least grown a little bit right in here, and hopefully they'll continue to grow. So, Factom. What is Factom? Factom is a practical blockchain solution for those seeking a collaborative platform to preserve, ensure, and validate digital assets. So they have two parts down here. DLock system, System buy. Now I'm gonna botch this. I actually tried to find a YouTube video on this company to figure out how to pronounce the name. I'm gonna try Lenzens. I don't know if the X is like a Z, but so it's somebody who knows how to pronounce that. I apologize if I botched that. So they have DLock, a breakthrough document authentication solution that lets you secure physical documents on the blockchain. It's a really cool thing, and I'm going to hop over to that page in a second, which it will explain in more detail what DLock is. We'll go over the second part here. So they have DLock, and then they have Harmony. And Harmony is their API, which integrates directly with any existing software, allowing you to share, audit, and exchange sensitive documents that are stored privately behind firewalls with the power of blockchain technology, eliminating the liability of lost documents, reducing audit time, and preventing costly disputes. So those are the two main things that Factom is focusing on. Man, I'm praying right now that my power doesn't blip, because then I'll have to redo this video, but it's raining really bad outside. Let me show you real quick. So they also have this, which is their Factom University, and I'm just going to knock it out of the way real quick just for fun, but it's right here. So it's kind of cool. They built a whole entire university of information and documentation, which covers, like, you know, what exactly Factom is, and then it also goes over different things with blockchain terms and explains things that are, you know, to people that are brand new in you know, crypto and blockchain and maybe haven't heard certain terms or different things. So it's a cool little thing that they've gone an extra step to educate people into Factom plus the blockchain in general. All right, so I'm going to skip this part right here. I'm going to go to DLock first, and then we'll go back. Actually, let's go to our story first, because it does a general overview, and then we'll hop into DLock. So our story, we set out a simple goal to create, design, and build products to make the world a more transparent and honest place. What they are about. So this is where it gets really exciting for me, because I think this will start to build a picture to you, hopefully, and I hope you see the same thing I see, and you'll see why I'm excited about it. So they want to make the world system honest. Basically, honesty is good for business, which, again, that's kind of the point of blockchain, right? It's everything's there, and you can't adjust anything. It keeps everybody, you know, honest. It's on, you know, it's on paper, so to speak. Institutions and people today have problems changing the world, you know, and change the world for the better when they have a reliable framework to build on, so the blockchain. Systems that are honest, free up debt capital. And so what they're trying to say is, you know, this is going to help, you know, basically there's so many moving parts that occur that blockchain could solve, that it's going to fix a lot of those issues. It's not as far as, like, you know, the amount of money that's going to be thrown towards something, the amount of manpower that's going to be thrown towards something, and that's what they'll explain here a little bit further. We see a future where fraud, corruption, and forgery are a thing of the past. Again, tied into the blockchain. We believe in keeping private data private, securing the world's wealth, because privacy and possession of property are basic human rights. Life can be a little bit more fair with Factom. And then here's a quote from their CEO. We started Factom to build a more honest and transparent world. We take a pretty simple approach: create software that makes it impossible to change the past, and point that software at places where it solves valuable business problems. So their company mission: we make the world's system honest and transparent, and we are factomizing the world one record at a time. So they're using it as a verb there. And again, if you notice, a lot of the verbiage and wording and the focus is very repetitive, but it's the same concept as in they're trying to take everything and put it onto the blockchain, have it where nobody can obviously adjust it. It's out there, it's very transparent, open, honest, and it's once it's in there for good. You know, why decentralized? Blockchains are clunky databases, so why would you want to use them? Traditional systems have inherent flaws that make them easy targets for corruption of data. A Factom system gives a single version of the truth through a decentralized network of authority. Once everyone can agree on a single version of truth, then the truly game-changing applications can be built. Going down here, they have a little bit of a timeline. It's not a roadmap, but it is a roadmap, but it's kind of a past roadmap, if you will, not a future roadmap. Paul Snow, which is their current CEO, and David Johnston have the origin conversation. This was back in 2014, so they've been around for quite a long time when it comes into the crypto world. all these little bullet points have different things. So the first GitHub commit was made by Paul. Original name Notary Chains. First Factom Media article 2014. White paper they released 2014. Factom version 0.1 released. And it can go on and on and on. I want to skip one here because it's kind of one of my exciting points later on. And here they go through the culture, their team, etc. So let's go ahead and hop back over to this part right here, which is the D-Lock. So that was kind of their overview of the story. D-Lock and Harmony are the two main points of Factom and what they bring to the table. So we'll look at D-Lock first. So what is D-Lock? They partnered with this company. Again, don't make me botch the name. Lensens, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. And basically what it is, it's a document authentication and verification system that reliability authenticates any essential documentation or documents, including birth certificates, land titles, and medical records. Now, any institution that issues vital records, including governments, banks, hospitals, and universities, can put the power of the blockchain technology and the trust of the well-established industry standards into protecting the integrity of their vital records. So basically, they've opened up the ability by connecting with the D-Lock to almost anybody, especially when it comes to sensitive, information. I mean, healthcare, for example, that's the utmost of sensitive information. It's very, very private. There's paperwork out, out the wazoo. It's crazy, and so this is where something like D-Lock could, really help out. So how does it work, and how do they, how does it all function? It's easy to get started. They say you apply the D-Lock sticker to any documentation, and then you start tracking your documents in the platform. So this is a specific breakdown of how it works. I'm going to skip that word there. The D-Lock seal, which incorporates a special security chip in the actual sticker, the seal, can hold context information such as images, biometrics. They can store public data, private data, and it can all be accessed to authorized parties only. So you can set it up specifically for certain parties to access, especially if it's sensitive information, which most of it probably will be. You can choose from a range of different chip platforms. They go into different sizes here. But it supports all the different standard security features, including UV print, microtext, and latent images. Let's see, unique IDs for the NFC tags. It's only recognizable by a private key. They also have down here, so once you issue the document with your D-Lock sticker, it can be verified using a desktop reader or mobile app on the NFC-enabled phone. You can scan the document to see the true history and have the confidence of that they are authentic. So this is really, really good and interesting because they're basically taking all this real world, all these documents, and putting them onto the blockchain with these stickers. You can scan things, you can use the app, whatever you want to do, and it will start to, in my opinion, absolutely change how we document everything, how we keep everything in a database, how we can check things, how we can audit things, how we can access things. I mean, this is the future, and I know other companies are trying to do something similar to this, but they're doing this, and they've been doing this for a while, and, it's something that I think is great because there's really no one particular industry that possibly wouldn't have a need for this particular D-Lock solution. All right, let's go ahead and skip over now to what's called Harmony. Harmony, their second point is, or the second piece, Harmony, a collaborative blockchain platform that can preserve, validate, and publish evidence for the mortgage industry. They don't talk about the mortgage industry here. I figured it would be more than just that because it talks about the liability of lost documents, reducing audit times, preventing costly disputes. But it might just be for the mortgage industry because this is what it talks about here. So I'm assuming it is. But going to this, it talks about that it helps, essentially Factom Harmony enables organizations to have better coordinate compliance for audits, interact with loan documents, data across multiple sources, deliver final documents faster, utilize resources more efficiently, all through one platform. So, I mean, if you think about the mortgage industry, there's tons of paper, documents and paper and all different things that they have to go through, talking about auditing, litigation, quality control, mergers, acquisitions, due diligence. I mean, those are all things that it's tons of time, tons of man work, lots of money. And it's very, very confusing. There's a video. I'm not going to click on the video. It's like 3 minutes long, I think. But the video goes into more detail about how, there's just so many moving parts. And I think part of the video even talks about, like, the amount of moving parts that are going on, and like issues that you have to find would be the equivalent. I think it said it was like the equivalent of finding like 1 grain of sand in the Sahara Desert or something like that. And so it's just, there's just too much to keep track of everything and actually have it work well. And so by having the Harmony system, then all of a sudden it's going to basically put everything together and organize all that data. The key benefits, organizes through a powerful document, data, file management platform, digital assets across a distributed network and numerous organizations, verifies, validates, creates a hierarchy for models for the management and way the documents are, the digital assets are set up. Let's see, confirms digital asset ownerships, supports comments, exceptions, issues management, individual assets. I mean, there's tons of different details, but the bottom line is you're taking a mountain of data and actually being able to organize everything, to a point where it's not that complicated anymore, as long as everything is input in properly. It's kind of like good in, good out, bad in, bad out. Basically, in my opinion, right now you have bad in, bad out, and they're trying to turn it around to good in, good out concept. If that made any sense. I don't know. If you guys haven't heard that phrase before, it might not make any sense. All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to the team. They are based out of Austin, Texas, which I like that just because, some of these companies are based in extreme, crazy, locations around the world for multiple reasons, maybe tax reasons, or maybe the one particular government is more friendly to crypto compared to others. Whatever their case is, they are straight up just in the middle of, Austin, Texas. It's easy to find. You can look them up. There's an address there. I even went on Google Maps, looked at their building. It's there. It's easy to find. It's not some hidden place. So that does make me happy. So their team. This is their team, which is incredible. Almost 30 people. And then they have 5 more advisors in here. So that's great. I love to see that they have so many people actually actively working on this project together. I think the only other coin or token that I've actually reviewed that would be somewhat similar to the same amount of people, or a lot of people, would maybe be Zencash, I believe. But a lot of teams are small, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Usually teams kind of max out around 10-ish and no more. And I say in all my videos, I'm a big fan of coins and tokens that have large teams, because not only do you have the ability, I always talk about the ability to pick up that phone and make a connection with, a partnership with somebody. And I feel like this team has that opportunity. I haven't gone through each one of these in here to find out specifically, who they're connected with and who they can pick up the phone and make something happen. But if you start to look around at some of the other pieces of information, you can start to see they have connections. This lady down here, one of their advisors, there was an article, International Business Times, that talked about these venture capitalists are powering the blockchain boom. And so you have like Tim Draper. Well, this guy's a billionaire here. Mark Cuban, obviously billionaire. Naval. And then you have number 4, her. Well, so I think it's pronounced Elise Colleen. She's a venture capitalist, and she's an advisor for their team. Now, to even take it a step further, what I also like to see is, even though he's not listed anywhere as an advisor, Tim Draper, who's a billionaire, who I just talked about a second ago, he actually, where did it go? Yeah. So in their press release here, if you look down to this one, right? I had it open. I apologize. I think it's this one here. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one right here. Okay. So it says this was 2016. Factom, they did a Series A funding, and the blockchain technology company that secures data, Factom, announced that it has raised a Series A round of equity funding led by Tim Draper. So I mean, the fact that they even had that type of connection in the first place is awesome. I mean, the guy's a billionaire. He's into, Bitcoin technology or crypto, cryptocurrency technology, blockchain type, that type of thing. So I think I'm hoping that this shows you that they have connections. And I also believe that if you look at everything about them in general, they're very business oriented. Even the way the website is laid out, just in general, if you look at if you looked at enough websites, you kind of know like if a website is kind of a personal blog or a business one or something in between. This one feels very business-ish to me, and I like that. I like crypto and blockchain coins and teams and technology businesses that function and look like a real business, So that's me personally, but I do like that a lot. Paul Snow, which is currently the CEO, it's this guy here. I went to his LinkedIn page just to kind of look around, and what was also kind of nice to see in here, this is him here, other than the fact that he wears bow ties, which I like. He was the president of the Texas Bitcoin Conference back in 2013. So, I mean, this guy has, he's been around at least long enough, in my opinion, into the crypto world. It's not some, fly-by-the-night guy that just came in and just threw something together. I mean, he's got a team of almost 30 people with advisors that have connections, which, even connection to Tim Draper that has, helped him with funding. And to even go further than that, what I thought was interesting is I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, they didn't really do like an ICO. They did a legitimate business style, like different series rounds of funding like any other normal business would do. So they had to run around and find venture capital and get investors and people to come in and try to build something. And some people might be like, oh, well, that's the old, that's the anti what crypto's about. And but at the same time, guys, like, we want blockchain technology to change our lives. At least I do. I want that to better our lives. And I think this particular coin and this company is truly looking at it from like a business aspect. I mean, I understand the people that the libertarian mindset and you're separating, whatever from crypto, but I think this marriage is nice. I'm not against this particular marriage, at least me personally. So again, I like the fact that the CEO has been around for a while in crypto. He's definitely been active in the crypto space, if he's leading conferences and being part of conferences and being organizers of, different things that are tied into Bitcoin and crypto, and has been tied to Factom for a couple years now. All right, I already read through this part. I wanted to talk about the Tim Draper in there. So this right here, this was something that was super exciting to me, and even though it's been around since 2016, you have to understand there are 1,500 different coins and tokens. I can't know everything, and most time on the surface, you just you read something basic and you move on, and like I didn't find this until I went to their Reddit page, kind of scrubbed through a little bit, and somebody talked about the partnership with Homeland Security. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Partnership with Homeland Security? Sure enough, it is true. 2016, June 17th, 2016. Can't talk. They had a press release that basically said the Department of Homeland Security awarded Factom $199,000 to advance the security of digital identity for Internet of Things devices. That to me is huge. Now you could argue, well, the government can, whatever, give contracts to all sorts of people. Yes, you can, but number one, again, it talks about, who do they have connections with that they can pick up the phone and make stuff happen and get the adoption out there for this particular coin, this particular technology. But the fact that, basically the government's coming in and saying, okay, we trust your organization enough to start to handle the things that we're doing. I like to see that. And again, I'm not going to argue, crypto and the government side of things, but I think this is a big deal. I mean, this to me says they're not just some fly by the night company. They actually have they have a good solid foundation. And on top of that, if you look over here, here's an actual post from .gov, DHS.gov, January 10th. Essentially, this is just an update, so this is a year later. On January 10th, so they're still doing stuff with them. It's not like they just did it and bounced. And then if you look at the third article over here, this is January 30th, so it's about 20 days after this article. Yeah, 20 days after this article. Factom receives a second Department of Homeland Security grant for blockchain Internet of Things projects. So they are continually moving forward, and even in the Reddit post, one of the guys talked about, like, I guess there's 4 phases, I believe, for this particular project, and I think they're about to hit phase 4. Don't quote me on that. But they're still continuing to use them. So to me, that's saying that they're doing something right. They're moving forward in the right direction. So I really, really like to see that. Yeah, so I guess here's what they awarded for the phase 2. They've done another in April of 2017. They closed a Series A round for $8 million. And again, you know, they're taking a totally different approach than most of these coins. They are going at it like a legitimate business. So that's a very interesting route to take, in my opinion. All right, last but not least, their white paper. So I'm not really going to dive very much in the white paper because it's, like I said, everything's kind of redundant. Everything's very much about like honesty, being open, being transparent, you know, allowing different companies to come in and use blockchain technology, even if they're not like crypto related. But this is what I thought was pretty cool. Now, I don't know what the definition of reviewer would be. I don't know how much that ties into, you know, like the person reviewing it. Do they really have that much of like their approval into the paper, and did they edit anything? But right here, Vitalik Buterin, right on there, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool that he was actually tied into it. Now, this was back in 2014. So I don't know how they got him to be a reviewer, and I don't really know what that means, but I thought that was pretty cool there. So I don't know how much validity that has to it. Honesty, Subversive, Paul Snow, the CEO. I'm going to skip most of this just because, it's very kind of, it's like pretty much the same thing we already talked about. I read through the majority of it, kind of skimmed it, but down here, conclusion. So this is their conclusion. And again, it just kind of sums everything up. Factom is a distributed, autonomous layer residing on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's one thing I didn't talk about. They're on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. The goal of Factom is to provide the power of Bitcoin's blockchain to nearly an unlimited range of applications and uses. Further, Factom is architected such that users do not need any cryptocurrency whatsoever. So it's just they're really trying to make this thing very simple and very unique and different. Not totally different, I guess, but anyways. A distributed immutable ledger is the radical, foundational, and unprecedented technology represented by the Bitcoin blockchain. The dream of many is to extend the honesty inherent to an immutable ledger validated by the math to chaotic real-world interactions. By allowing the construction of unbound ledgers backed by the blockchain, Factom extends the benefits of the blockchain to the real world. So I really like, in everything they talk about, I really feel that they are very just focused on, you know, keeping it open, keeping it honest, keeping it transparent, keeping it, you know, just trying to figure out how many sectors and industries that they can not revolutionize, if you will, but just bring onto the blockchain platform technology, and you know, just get these companies into the future. You know, blockchain, in my opinion, is the future in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how specifically or how exactly that will look, but I do believe that this is, you know, the future of businesses and how we organize all the data and how everything's structured. And I think that Factom is a very, very interesting company for that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, my overview of Factom, I really like the way they're put together. I think they're very business oriented. I think they have a very solid vision. I don't, you know, if I had to give a negative, I didn't see a roadmap anywhere that's telling me what the next step will be. So I have to hold them hostage to the same standards that I hold all these other coins, you know, to the same standard as those coins. So I wish there was a roadmap in here. If I missed it, I apologize, and I couldn't find a roadmap in here. So that's the only negative that I have to give them. But everything about them, like everything else about them, I don't get a bad, weird feeling in my stomach about. Some of these coins and tokens I look at, I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to overlook this because I like the rest of this. There's nothing on here that makes me feel that way, other than maybe the roadmap But there's so many. If you go through their blog, they're constantly posting. If you go through, they have press releases in here, news. So they're constantly getting out there. So yeah, I have to give them a negative on the roadmap. If I have to find a negative, that would be my negative. Everything else, I love. I love everything else about it, and I feel like they have a vision, and they're actually making their vision come to life. They're having partnerships. They have great connections. Yeah, in fact, I live close to these people. I'd love to go visit them one time and do a personal interview. I might do that. That would be awesome. So hopefully maybe in the future I can maybe like drive on over there and maybe meet with somebody. So if anybody from Factom is watching this, I would love to come drive to your your building and just do an interview. Don't know if that'll happen because I'm a pretty small-time YouTube person. But hey, I can dream. I can dream. So hopefully you guys like this video. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.